Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and we'll start exactly in about 4 or 5 minutes time. We are now live on YouTube, and since Zoom is 100% right now as we speak, please pass on message to your friends that this is live on YouTube. We have also emailed the link to all of you. So in another 5 minutes when we start, you could watch us on YouTube. Please do message to your friends because we are anticipating close to 1000 odd people to participate in this. Minu, since it is, we could start given that, we are full and we could start.
Okay, lovely. So, good evening, everybody. This is Meenu Bhatia. I'm from the YUGMA team. So happy to have you all here, and happy to see you all here, listening to us about introducing about this whole summer internship program that most of you have been seeing this on our website. You've been seeing this on the social media. So the whole objective of this next 1 hour really is to introduce you to this program, talk to you about the projects, talk to you about the process, um, have questions from you, and we'll try to answer most of the questions out here. All our friends who are joining us on YouTube, feel free to message us. The number is given to you on the email, so please message us in case you have any questions. We will actually be talking to you, like I mentioned, about the projects, about the process, and what is it that we're going to do next after this webinar. So, write to us, and we'll be very happy to take those questions. We, if you think you have a question at any given point of time, feel free to put it in the chat box. And one of us, so we are four of us here from the Yugma team. One of us will, attempt to answer that particular question. Uh, Feel free to if there are certain FAQs that we've covered as part of this presentation, beyond those FAQs, if you have any thoughts, ideas, feel free to raise those out here. So Srini, over to you to start this.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Meenu, for setting up the context. Yeah, we wanted to just spend 5 minutes to take you through what we are, who we are as a background before we talk about the projects. Devesh, can you move to the next slide, please? After working for about 20 years in corporate, and Meenu worked for about 16 years in the corporate in companies like Godrej and Piramal. I have worked predominantly in a company called Piramal. I was the CEO of the financial services business, and prior to that was Group CHRO. We formed this company called Vans Skilling and Advisory. And many times when I go to any campus, which I've been doing for 17 years, I've been recruiting, I've been mentoring, I've been on the boards of several campus. Uh, when I hear this word campus to corporate, I feel that in many ways that's not correct. So there are two things that came to our mind when we started this company. We said it's not campus to corporate, it's campus to career. Campus to corporate is only a start. You are 20 something, you have 40 more years to work. Getting into a corporate is one important aspect, but not the only thing. So, whatever we do, we need to focus upon campus to career, your 40 years career. That's one important aspect. Second, very important aspect, we always felt that the relationship between campuses and corporates have been slightly one sided. It was always campus, corporate. I think here we are talking about a circular relation where it's not just campus to corporate, but corporate to campus as well. Because the companies and the growth of the companies, the strategy of the company is also a lot dependent on campuses. Like campuses are dependent on companies, we strongly feel that companies are also dependent on campus. So I think we don't talk about campus to corporate. We talk about a partnership between corporates and campus for career management. I think that's the origin of our company, to say so. What we do basically is we run, a very high-end consulting company for several of large and mid-sized companies, to say so, where we play a role of CEO, CHRO, so on and so forth in several companies. Yeah, and whichever companies that we work with and operate with, we try building a wonderful campus connect with those set of companies to talk about. Or in other words, we are a company which manages probably dozens of companies, okay, mid-sized to large-sized companies. And while we have our own products, one of the important aspects is whichever company that we manage, we try to build a very close connect with the B schools through live case studies and through summer placements, final placements, mentorship, etc. So, as a company, Vans is a company which believes that B school students make a lot of a difference in profitability and strategy of a company. And how do we bring in B schools closer to the corporate and corporates closer to the B schools, to say so? In any of the projects that we do, be it for a startup company, be it for a listed company, be it for an unlisted company, any work that we do in form of strategy or consulting, we make sure that B schools are involved in that. In my view, India INC can move to the next level, if all the companies start utilizing the B schools, leveraging the B schools, partner with the B schools much more. We also believe in this fact that we should never judge a B school based on tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. It is student in a particular B school who is more important than the institute. So we firmly believe that students of tier 2, tier 3, given an opportunity, given mentorship, can do better than quite a few of tier 1 colleges and vice versa. So therefore, we are trying to create a few products and services which would be college neutral, standing neutral, but depending on the candidate. I think that's the whole business model that we talk about. We are about a 3-year-old company to talk about. Divesh, next slide, please. Now, this thing that we talk about, if you look at this slide, we firmly believe that corporates are as dependent on B schools as much as B schools are dependent on corporates. Prima facie, when we talk to some of these corporates, for example, we have been having certain workshops and brainstorming sessions with campus recruitment team of Ernst and Young, Yes Bank, ICICI, Flipkart, Bounce, Ola, so on and so forth. These have been very large recruiters, and by virtue of our consulting work, we know them well, and we've been talking to them. I think 2 points have come quite strongly. One point which has come is summers is make or break for students, especially the students of tier 2, tier 3 colleges. Summers is make or break. If they get a good summer with a good mentor, it can shape the career, and it is very, very important. Summer should not be viewed as a graded assignment alone, but one step towards getting to the campus is what summers need to be viewed as. Now, unfortunately, summer opportunities very few, and far good summer opportunities do come. So therefore, our attempt through this particular thing in Yugma is to create certain summer projects, help you with certain summer projects, which would give you an opportunity to actually rub shoulders with the founders and who is who of different companies and get you an opportunity. That's where we feel that this whole platform is going to help you out. Yeah. Next, please. We are very happy to share that in this space not many companies get funding and we don't attract a lot of investors. We are very happy to state this was all over the newspapers last couple of days. We had managed to get a lot of important people on board. We have Mr. Hemant Kaul, managing director and CEO former of Bajaj Alliance, as one of our investors who had invested in this company based on our vision, based on our you know uh, quest for making sure that we create this for B schools. Yeah. Our heart beats for 3,980 B schools, but unfortunately, the world talks about the top 30, 40, which is important. But giving an opportunity to all the B schools to get the best is what our vision is all about. We have Mr. Sujan Sinha, ex CEO and MD of Shriram Finance, as one of our investors. We have partner from Deloitte. We have Chief Strategy Officer from Tata Group company Voltas. We have Senior Vice President Finance from Piramal, so on and so forth. So we have got set of investors who are invested in this company who feel that this mentorship is a great platform for helping students, especially of the MBA students. We are very happy to announce that Dr. Chandrahans Chavan, uh, director of Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, University of Mumbai, has joined us as our advisor to make sure that all the attempts that we do to mentor the students, we leverage his experience. Dr. Chavan has mentored over 1,000 PhDs, including probably about 300, 400 faculty members for their PhDs across Mumbai and Pune universities. He had personally mentored over 2,000 summer interns, including summer interns in Hindustan Levers and a couple of other large companies. So all of you would get an opportunity probably to leverage and work with these set of people that we are talking about. Devesh, next please. Yeah. Thank you so much for the confidence. We had nominations, rather applications from 103 MBA colleges in India. 50, 60 are named here. Rest we could not name in a single slide. 103 B schools, including some of the IIMs, Jamnalal Bajaj, to universities in Gujarat, to Maharashtra, to Chennai, to Tamil Nadu, to Andhra Pradesh, to across north to east to west to south. We had applications from different colleges. So thank you so much for your confidence in this whole process. Yeah, Devesh, next please. Yeah. Before I hand over to Meenu to talk about the companies and other things, we have handpicked these companies. Okay. Now these are companies where we know the founders. We had detailed discussions with the founders to understand what kind of projects, why is it important for them, how is it adding value to them, what will students learn, what should be the framework, etc. So what we do is that we engage into deep discussions with each of these companies, with the owners of these companies, chairman of this company, etc., to understand their commitment. So, like we filter students to select them in these internships, we also filter companies to do that. Every company which requires we do not entertain, we go through a certain process to find out whether these companies are really good, not good, etc., etc., from our perspective to say. Very interesting. Many of our companies are new age companies, technology, internet, e-commerce companies. These are new age companies, modern management practices, etc. And the companies that we are talking about, uh, you know personally and through Vans, we have been doing extensive work with these companies to talk about. So therefore you will find that the projects that we are referring to are not quote unquote a general project, but a very specific and intrinsic interesting and intruding projects for each one of you. We have spent substantial amount of time in curating each of these projects to make sure that you really learn and it helps you in your final placements from that perspective. Yeah. With this, I will hand over to Meenu to take you through the mechanisms. We welcome you to ask as many questions. Please put it on the chat window. Over to you, Meenu.
All right. Srini, thank you so much for putting that context together. Devesh, can you go on to the next slide, please? All right. So, like Srini mentioned, most of these companies we've handpicked. Uh, the way we've handpicked them is we know a lot of the founders. We know what their vision is all about. You know, the aspiration that they have to grow this company, and even after filtering the companies, we actually went to the second level to filter the projects out. The team has actually spent time in talking to each of these companies and the founders and the HR heads to understand how will how can we sharpen these projects so that the learning for students is immense. The way this has been designed is twofold. So one is the student who's doing this should pick up skills which will help them stand out, one on their CV, and two, as far as their learnings are concerned from a career standpoint. And on the other hand, the projects have been made sharper so that they are helping the organization solve some of the crucial challenges that they are facing. So it could be a challenge or it could be a process that will help them accelerate their growth. So the whole idea is that both the stakeholders should find value in engaging with each other. So one way to do this could have been just to put any project that will help an organization, but the whole idea was that eventually this should help them grow in a particular fashion. This should help them be visible in the market in a particular fashion. Some of these companies are fairly new and their growth paths are huge. So they've picked up projects which will help them grow faster. Some of these companies are little mature, and when I say mature, it's more in terms of the number of years that they have been, and now they're looking at reinventing themselves, or they're looking at finding their version 2.0, and therefore uh, they've identified projects which will take them on that trajectory. Some of these companies, are global in nature, so they have operations across, and the way they've designed these projects is to help students, understand how global operations would affect them in this country, and what are those interlinkages like. And some of these companies are very India focused, which means that the depth in the project would be all about how do we tap India markets, or what should be our go to market strategy as far as this market is concerned. So there's a big range, there's a huge range which you would see appearing in these companies. And like Srini mentioned a while ago, the conversations have all been like, since we know most of the founders and since we know most of some of these are our clients, the conversations have been around how do we add value to a life of a student you know who's kind of stepping into this with some understanding, and also with those aspirations to add in skills which will help their careers, and for the company in terms of how will a student add value to help them achieve their targets. All right, so Devesh, to the next slide, please. All right, so what do you actually get working with these companies? So some of you are connected with me on social media, and this morning, I happened to comment on somebody's post, and some of you actually wrote to me on my direct messenger that uh, you know difference between a brand and a project, a good project. So how do we make sure that we get to work with good brands? uh, the only submission I have at this point of time is that during the time of your placements, yes, brand does play a huge role, but what plays a bigger role is what have you done, the projects that you've done, the value that you have added, the learnings that you have captured, the skills that you have acquired. And these are the skills that you're going to talk about in your, not just in your final placements actually, but these are the skills that you're going to utilize in your careers ahead. So like I said, what does it take for you to work with these companies? I think it's all about, adding in skills. If you're able to work with some of these startups and rub shoulders with some of the founders, the perspectives that you get, the opportunities that you get to work with a business would be very different from, say, working in a project which is siloed and restricted to that particular function. Of course, we keep talking about the fact that, as much as the company would want to invest in your growth, it's also about what are you bringing on the table. And therefore, the whole idea of summer projects is to see what can you derive out of it. A lot of things would be new for you. Nobody expects you to be an expert out here, but what are you reading before you go and work in these projects? What kind of skills are you gathering before you sorry, before you work on these projects? So it's really upon you in terms of, how you actually leverage this opportunity to work with these companies who are massively ambitious. They have huge growth plans. They want to kind of, capture newer markets, and they want you to assist them. So think of it from that perspective, that what's the kind of learning, that you actually want to gather when you're working with a founder or with a core team member, or actually multiple core team members, where you say designing a go to market strategy, or you're writing content for somebody, just as an example. So when you're writing content, you get to understand the business, or when you're designing a social media strategy, you're actually understanding the business. So this is actually going beyond your functional area to gain understanding of where the business is headed, what are its drivers, what are its motivations, and you get to move a step beyond your ultimate projects. Srini, you wanted to talk about you wanted to give them a glimpse of the
Yeah,
profile of the
yeah,
founders.
yeah. So it's also very important for you to understand that gives you an opportunity to work with what kind of people. For example, there's a company called Joy of Performing. It's a Delaware-based U.S. company with focus on launching a performance management product on OKR based out of India. The founder was ex-CEO of Suzlon. Prior to that, is a very big known name in the energy sector, including companies like JSW, etc., that he worked with. Arihant, it is one of the large listed companies. The founder the chief operating officer with whom you are likely to work was a partner in one of the large consulting companies for 25 years before coming into this company. Right. Chief operating officer of FFE, the mentor for this project, was working with Tesco, Walmart, globally in UK, US before starting into this company. So therefore, I think there are two aspects that we're talking about. These founders are not experimenting early stage founders. These are guys with proven track record, have been CEOs of companies, have done extremely well, and trying to build a certain set of companies. So I thought it's very important to know that what set of people you are likely to work. Yeah, over to you, Meenu.
All right, thank you. So, for those of you who've gone through the projects that were shared with you all on the email, so there's a range, and there are projects in equity research as far as finance is concerned. People, students who wish to pursue their specialization in finance, there are a few companies who want to kind of relook at their operational processes to see that how do we bring in optimization in those processes, how do we make them more efficient, so on and so forth. There are a few companies who are specifically talking about the strategy around go to market. They have products and they now want to take those products out, or they already have communicated a strategy. They want to test out that strategy in the market. There are projects around compensation and benefits, and in terms of streamlining the HR processes, in terms of designing policies that will help the company accelerate its people maturity. And finally, there are projects around enhancing, digital media presence, in terms of creating content which helps the business reach out to their customers faster. So like I mentioned, range of projects in sales, marketing, finance, operations, HR, some in analytics as well. The whole idea is, to give you a flavor of what really happens in a business, and how some of these projects can actually drive certain critical outcomes. Having said that, one of the questions somebody had asked me on LinkedIn, and I'd requested them to, be in this webinar and, talk to us there. That aren't these skills quite niche, and we've not studied these subjects as yet. So well, there will be, hand holding that will happen. Like I said, nobody would expect you to design a strategy. At the same time, these projects will demand of you to pick up skills and talk to your mentors, talk to people around you, talk to your professors, and actually bring in concepts that will help you justify these 8 to 10 weeks that you're spending with this organization. So that's where these internship opportunities would lie. Divish, go on to the next slide, please. So let's talk about the evaluation process, and feel free to ask us questions out here. So like we said, there will be certain filters, and because some of these projects have been designed uh, in a way that they will be directly contributing to the business, it's important that we have certain filters in terms of who gets into which project. Devesh, you may need to go to the next one. Yeah. So the first step is the preliminary assessment that happens. So all of you will actually undergo an online assessment. We will be sharing the links with you shortly. And this assessment is only for students, 1600 plus students who've registered with us in the first phase. There will be dates around these assessments. So there will be a window given to you. We're working with your placement teams to placement coordinators and heads to figure out when are your college exams. So every college will be given a date or a window in which you need to finish this. So roughly it will take you 90 minutes to complete this assessment. What will this assessment comprise of? So there'll be multiple choice questions around emotional intelligence, emotional quotient that will kind of evaluate your emotional quotient, intelligence quotient, management quotient, which will be all about your functional skills. And there will be a short video that you need to upload, which will be largely around assessing how do you communicate. Now when we say how do you communicate, it's not about testing how flowery your language is, or how grammatically correct you are, but it's also about how are you expressing yourself. So while you may passionately believe in something or topic, how are you actually communicating that, and how are you expressing yourself? For which you will need to record a video and upload. So we're going to talk about the process, the logistics a little later. Also, we will be sharing all of this with you on an email. This email will come to you from us, and it will also be going to your placement heads. So this entire process is being anchored with your placement teams as well. So feel free to reach out to them as well in case you think you've not received an email, or you could directly write to us as well. But your placement teams would be a part of this whole process in terms of the information know-how. All right. So like I said, 90 minutes for the entire assessment. You'll have roughly about 75 minutes to do the online assessment on IQ, EQ, MQ. 15 minutes for uploading the communications video. So the topic will be given to you. You need to put your thoughts together. If you want to script it out, do that. And you'll need to upload a video for about 1 to 2 minutes. So record the video, upload it. Right. So the window will be between 21st to 31st of December. But like we said, every college will have about 3 days window that will be given to them, depending on the exam schedules, etc., that you may have. So we are in touch with your placement coordinators for that. All right. So can we go to step 2, please? So, so once you finish the assessment, there are a few filters which the companies would have also given us. So they might say that, okay, for this particular project, we'll need somebody with an engineering background, or somebody might say that, okay, I need somebody who has a psychology background. So we'll look at those filters. We will look at your test scores. We'll look at your video, the communications video that you've given. And of course, there'll be filters like, location, and, they might prefer students from, a particular college, so on and so forth. While we do not have those instances where, particular college has been specified, but there'll be some other filters that the company could have asked for. Location could be one, and they might want somebody to be doing this virtually for them. So which means that we'll be able to open this out to many more students. So that mapping will happen. We'll be doing that mapping in house. And and then we'll pass on, we'll actually pass on the companies for which you've been shortlisted, and we'll give you options. So it's not like you'll be only mapped to one company. We'll give you options, and then these options will be passed on to your placement coordinators, and the placement coordinators will communicate. The interviews will tentatively happen in the second or third week of January. And like we said, it's all going to happen through your place comms. If the interviews are happening in second, third week of January, our attempt will be to make sure that by end of January, we have, the clear-cut road ahead, which means that, students uh, accepting the offers, and companies actually extending the offers, and students accepting those offers. And Divish, if you go on to the next step, please. Yeah. And then tentatively by last week of January, and by first week, or by first week of February latest, we should have uh, the project allocation happening. So that's the stage where the process really ends from the whole logistical standpoint. Like the offer letters will be given to your placement heads, and they will forward those offer letters to you. Now what happens after that? We don't want to end the process out there. We want to make sure that you are ready to actually face this, not face really, but you're ready to actually accept, or get into, or integrate with this whole concept of summer projects better. So we're going to be with you. We're going to be your guides, your mentors. We'll handhold you. And what we are committing to you at this point of time is something which is called as monthly developmental connects. The whole idea is to give you skills, to facilitate skills that are going to stay with you forever. So for example, in one of the sessions, what we intend to cover is careers in specific sectors or in specialization. So if you are a HR professional, what kind of career should you be looking forward to? If you are a finance person, how can you actually plan your career well? If you are a marketing student, what opportunities are available for you? How can you leverage summer projects, and how can you actually work towards specific careers that would be of your interest? The second bit is going to be around the whole personal brand. Like so for example, it's if you're doing your summers, how do you leverage summers in building up your own brand? How do you actually use social media, for example, to communicate some of the learnings? How do you actually build your own muscle to be able to face the final placements and your career, um, career ahead, basically? So those are some of the skills that we would like to impart. And then finally, it will be all about how do you prepare for your final placements? What do you really need to do to be able to communicate your own value proposition to the recruiter? uh, there will be, like we mentioned, most of these CEOs, the founders, the CHROs who you will be working with, they'll actually be, they have years of experience behind them. They have, they have ambitious growth plans. So you'll get to actually work with them through these 2 3 months. We'll also be connecting with you each month. So which means that, once you are into your summers, if you start your summers in say April, all the way till June, we'll actually be connecting with you once a month to see if all is well, and if you need any clarity, if you need any guidance or mentorship in terms of charting your way ahead. Of course, we'll be having, end of it, there will be a summer project, best summer project contest. Whole idea is to see how are you consolidating the learning, what impact have you made on the project, and what kind of skills are you taking back from this entire process. Something that we will be announcing shortly. Keep in touch with us on our LinkedIn page and on our Facebook and Instagram page. We'll be launching certain competitions very soon. These will be for students, who are actually wanting to develop their skills further. So there will be a competition. We'll be talking about it soon. Srini, you want to talk about this little more before I move ahead?
No, I think next month we will launch these competitions. This is more independent of the summers. Wanted to make sure that a lot more exciting things are coming up. So wanted to
Yeah,
just share. Yeah.
sure. All right. Anything else that you wanted to cover, Srini, before I go
Yeah,
on to
sure.
the next slide?
Because
Yeah,
I've got several
yeah,
questions, at least
sure.
half a dozen of them, on my private chat. So I'm just sharing that these are
Right.
not paid projects. Neither the students pay anything nor the colleges pay. These are not paid projects. So I want to just clarify, because quite a few of you are asking me this question. So not even a single rupee, either the student has to pay or the colleges have to pay for this. Yeah. Over to you, Meenu.
All right. Can we go on to the next step, please? Okay, so there's no next step. Certain questions that we anticipated would come in. So we thought we will address these as part of this section. Feel free to ask us any other questions that you may have. Will I get my preferred location? Well, so if you have mentioned your location, and if we have projects in that particular location, we will definitely map you. Again, the filter stays, the scores in your examination and your communication skills video, and if there are filters which the company has given, after applying those filters, if there are any projects in your location, we'll be very happy to extend those to you and give you an opportunity to go interview with that particular company. If the project is online, of course, there will be a work from home option which will be available. All the stipend details are given on the projects page, so you can actually check that out. There are a few projects where there is no stipend. The learnings are immense, of course. There are a few, we have close to about 155 intern positions, which some projects have been already announced. There are a few in pipeline. So, we'll keep you posted that there are a few other projects that have opened up. There are projects where there is variable compensation or variable stipend. So, which means your stipend will be tied to a few business objectives being met in those 2 months. And in some cases, there's a fixed stipend which has been mentioned. So, all of that is on our SIP page. Few logistical things, of course, like I said, everything about the test, we will be putting it in an email and sending it across to you. So hopefully, we'll cover every small thing, every small question that you may have. So we are quite confident that you will not have any questions beyond that. But you have our numbers, you have our email IDs. Feel free to write us back if there are any issues in understanding the whole process. Uh, Devesh, can you go on to the next slide, please? Yeah. Uh, this is one question which we have been, getting quite frequently. Can new students register? So, because you all have taken an initiative to come up and show your interest for this particular program, we want to respect that, and therefore we want to extend these projects only to this set of students. We don't want to, we would not encourage new students to come up. In fact, all these assessments would be password linked and user ID linked, which will be uniquely generated for you. At the same time, sometime in the month of January, we may open up some new projects. At that point of time, we will invite more students to come up and register with us, and there will be a separate process for them altogether. In case you have any queries, Faisal is our project manager for YUGMA. He should be able to answer those queries, and his phone number is mentioned. We would urge that if you could just drop him a text and let him know that these are some of the queries. Else his phone will be ringing all 24 hours. So do drop him a text, or do write to him, and we all will make sure that we support Faisal to be able to answer your queries in time. All right. So that's really about us, and you all know us, so a lot of you have interacted with us. So uh, we're not getting into the Yugma team per se, but Devesh, can you quickly go to the mentors, and you'll actually be interact. Yeah, one more slide ahead. Both of us here, we are here. Yeah, so these are some of the mentors that we have within our Yugma team. Now, what do they actually do? So a lot of them help us design content for many other things. So if you go on the Yugma site, you will see there are tons of things that we do for B schools and for students like all of you. These are some of the subject matter experts who actually have immense experience either working for B schools or working in industries, and they bring in content, they bring in material which is relevant for the students. So which means they understand that, okay, what skills are missing today, and what is it that a student would learn that would make them career ready. So these are some of the yeah, yeah. So these are some of the mentors that you might also get to interact with. So we are yet to put a formal structure in terms of how these mentor mentee conversations will happen. But do look forward to meeting some of them during these 2 months, or even before you start your summer internships. Yeah, Divesh. Right. So these are just, their profiles. Like you see, most of them are, CXO professionals who carry tons of experience with them. And at the same time, they understand the fraternity, students' fraternity, and their demands, their struggles, their challenges, and the kind of skills, that are important for them to, again, to accelerate in their careers ahead. Yeah. Divish? Yeah. All right. So those were some of the brief profiles. We have roughly 70 plus mentors who basically who basically part of the Yugma team. So like I said, we will come back to you in terms of how will these mentor mentee conversations happen. At this point of time, while we've been trying to address your questions on the chat box, um, if you have any more questions, feel free to pour those in. Students who are watching us live on YouTube, do feel free to send your questions directly to Faisal, and he will bring those up on this platform. Yes, Srini, over to you.
Thank you so much, Minu, for taking
Yeah.
them through all the mechanisms. So Faisal would answer most of your questions. Interesting aspect is Faisal himself passed out a couple of years back, was working for a leading bank, and he believed in our passion for doing something for B schools, and he's working with us right now. Somebody who is very passionate about helping his colleagues. We also have Divesh, who is also from a leading B school, probably 2 years of experience, worked with a leading bank, now works for us. Both of them were rankers, gold medalists from their respective B schools in 2017 or so. Yeah. So feel free to talk to them. Faisal, maybe you should again reflect your. Can you change the slide so that they can note down your number properly? And the chat window also request you to put your numbers to say so. Yeah. Now, couple of things I just wanted to mention. Somebody has asked, Mr. Maheshwari has asked, so I'm just answering that question. Is that YUGMA is not just about summer internships. YUGMA is a platform to ensure that, in real sense and practical sense, the campus corporate bridge is cleared and it's not a superficial intervention. Through the year, we would have a lot of live projects, we would have a lot of subjects, we would have case study competitions, we would have certain databases wherein you would have access to 4.5 lakh companies and their data for your projects and stuff. You would have certain interesting webinars on careers in corporate finance, careers in as a BHR, and so on and so forth. So it would be a combination of a lot of competitions with case studies, with SIP, certain final placements, so on and so forth. We would slowly keep launching each one of it. As an answer to a couple of the questions I got, in the last 4 or 5 months, we had case study competitions. We had more than 5,000 of you participating. And as I talked to you, about 75 of you from different colleges, right from IIM Udaipur to Tirchi to BIM to GIM to Chetna to NL Dalmia to SIMS to SIBM to SEM HRD to TAPI to several of the colleges, MDI to several other colleges, XIM, etc., are working on different live projects. So the way it works is, when you participate in a case study, over 30 or 40 days, we filter all the applications into top 10 performers or 10 top 15 of them, and they get to work with the founder to execute some of the points that we talk. So the point is, this is a platform for all of you to shine and rise, somewhere erase the gap that tier 1 and tier 2, tier 3 colleges have. But it's more about you and not really about the college, specific college that you come from. Yeah. uh, yeah. So some more questions that we have got, and let me just try answering those questions from SIBM, Pooja. uh, so Pooja, you can go onto our website. You would have all the details of the project, specialization work wise. Uh, each of the company, what is the project, what is the outcome expected, what is the stipend, or is there a stipend, no stipend? All the details are mentioned over there, Pooja. After you go through that of YUGMA website, if you're unable to find out anything specific that you wanted, feel free to ask Faisal on that. We have a question from Sheetal from Amethi University. uh, okay. So, can I suggest that I would skip this question and please send that question to Faisal? Happy to answer that. It is more on resume building. Since the current workshop or mode is more about the SIP that we are offering, I would request you to email that, Sheetal, and we would be happy to answer. We have Isha Salian asking a question from the YouTube live. We have 500 plus people on YouTube as I speak to you. How do I identify good summer internship projects? Very good questions. One, and I'm talking based on 17 18 years of experience of going to hundreds of campuses to train them and recruit them, and work with quite a few of the campus recruiters. Some names I've already talked about. First and foremost important is, you want to start your career in which of the specializations? Is this project somewhere connected with that specialization or not? If you're doing a finance specialization, you want to start your career in finance, is the project related to finance, or is it a sales project? I think that's first and important project aspect that you need to look at. Second that you need to look at is, who are the people with whom you are likely to work? Are you working with one drop in a large ocean, or are you working with somebody who is important in the organization? What is the background of the person? That's second. Third part that you should look at is, what is the learning I'm going to have? For example, should the project be on equity research? What aspect am I going to learn? What aspects of finance will I learn, which it help me, doesn't help me? If I'm doing a project on launching a new geography, right? While it's a sales project, but what aspect of sales do I learn? Do I learn the packaging part of it? Do I learn about competition or not? So I guess, what is your learning at end of it? These are three things that I would look for. Stipend is an added bonus. In half the projects there are stipend, half there is no price, but I would suggest that should be the fourth element that you need to look at. I repeat what I started by saying. When I spoke to campus recruiter of Ernst and Young, ICICI Bank, Yes Bank, Flipkart, Ola, Bounce, and several other companies, Dara Shaw and several other companies, very, very important that summers is gateway for your finals. And in many ways, 90% of the summers are not the best summers that a lot of students enjoy doing or learn something out of it. So this is one opportunity to make sure that you are focused and get onto that. Yeah. I hope I answered your question, Isha. Yeah. Hi, Abhishek from IIM Bodh Gaya. Will you build a dream company? Let's say logistics only. Do a specific decision? Not. So the way it works, Abhishek, is once you write your exam, you get a scores. Based on your scores, background, etc., we would give you a choice, and you can opt those companies to say so. So the choice comes in the options given to you based on your scores. I hope I answered your question, Abhishek. And at that stage, you will have to decide whether you want to look for any one of it, or none of it, or both of it. Yeah. We have Bhavya. There'll be opportunity in healthcare management. I will have to check. I don't think in the 25 that we're talking about, we have really a healthcare management, but few more companies are getting added. Yeah. And I'm sure some would be from the healthcare domain in that. So currently, if I remember, I don't think we have anything specific to healthcare management. Yeah, Minu, unless I'm missing something, I don't. There is one. Sorry. There is one, a company into wellness. Okay. So there are one out of the 25 companies are into wellness. Hope I answered your question, Bhavya. Any more questions? Happy to answer those questions. Thanks, Bhavya. Surya from Amethi is IQ. Uh, okay. So I would put it this way. Uh, in a way, yes, Surya, IQ would be very similar to aptitude test. Maybe the kind of the questions could be a little more analytical than what you would have written in CET and CAT, but would be similar to that. EQ would be more on how you think on different situations. MQ would be more on management quotient, which means what you have studied in your first semester pertinent to that, and pertinent to the live news that you keep reading. As an MBA student, it's expected that you would be reading some of the newspapers. So these are the three sections that we talked about. And the fourth one we talked about is the communication. I hope I answered your question, Surya Menon. All right. Are there any other questions? Yeah. Please write, Faisal, once again, you have to paste your name and mobile number. Feel free to write any questions that you have to Faisal. As we said, we have been in touch with your placement coordinators and placement directors. Dates of the examination will give flexibility depending on your schedules that you have. uh, Once you write this examination at your residence, you'll have to give 90 days, and we'll give you a 3-day window or 2-day window to figure out that 90 minutes. Once your scores arrive, based on your preference and company's preference, etc., we would shortlist, we will map, offer you minimum of 2 projects to pick up from. At that point of time, the rest of the process is company specific, which we would help. Most important is uh, most important is we would mentor you through the summers, irrespective of which summers you get selected to. Of the 155 positions, we would do 3 sessions with you to help you sharpen your summers. Each of the company management we have trained on how to mentor on a daily basis. So that's an added advantage that you would get. We have Rishabh from NIBM Pune. Under finance, Rishabh, you'll have to check our website. In the website under finance, there are at least 4 or 5 projects that we have. Major of that being equity research project that we have. We do have certain projects in NBFC and in the similar space of equity, a similar space of a broking firm and an NBFC and a distribution franchisee. So these are some of the questions. You would have all of the details on our website of Yugma Vans. Hope I answered your question, Rishabh. Yeah, Rishabh, in a lighter sense, I was CEO of a leading NBFC company. So obviously, there will be some projects around NBFC and financial services. Okay. Any other questions, please?
Any questions from all the students who've joined us on YouTube?
Ma'am, we are answering those questions, so that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I think thank you so much for coming over. We are in touch with Vani. Company-wise stipend, everything has been specified on the website. Request all of you to go through that and have a look at that. Yeah. It's very much in public domain, so please feel free to look at that. We will also send you a detailed mail with, uh, you can click onto that. Apurva, the same answer to the question, wherein all the projects are mentioned on the website, whatever projects that we have at this point of time. Yeah. Please feel free to talk to Faisal and mail to him and message to him. We'll be happy to answer. Remember, the vision that we have is good students should not lose on a golden opportunity because of being from X tier or Y tier or Z tier college. For us, student, his inclination, niyat of the student, hard work of the student, sharpness of the student, commitment of the student is much more important. So this platform tries to neutralize that, bringing all of you on a similar way to say so. Uh, Commitment from our side, we would help you as much as possible, including doing 3 sessions. I'm again repeating, there are no costs associated through the summers till the completion of summers, not even a rupee that you have to pay or the college has to pay to us. Yeah. Thank you so much for your patience and thank you for coming. And we are overwhelmed that a few hundreds of people on Zoom and few hundreds of people on YouTube have come in. We would email. Thank you, 1600 odd people that who have registered for this from 103B schools on behalf of all the 25 companies that are on the platform today. Yeah. Thank you so much and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
All right.